Good morning and welcome to the final race day of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship happening here at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. Now it's race 2 day. We're going to have warm-ups happening right in this bright sunny morning on the beautiful island of Lombok, Indonesia. Then we'll have race 2 later on in the afternoon. And don't forget, we'll also have a pit walk happening here at 10:45. So if you're around the island of Lombok or even in Bali, you can make it in time for that. It's going to be really fun. You guys can meet the riders up close and personal. Now let's have a quick recap of what happened yesterday in race 1 in the TVS Racing International Championship. Apologies, is Vicente Perez Selva, who won it from pole after a real intense battle of 8 riders in the group. And in the under 150s, Husni Zainal Fazli, the defending champion, has won another race to extend his championship lead at the top. In the AP 250, Kritipat Kyungkam extends his lead and now has gotten 4 race victories in this season, and it's going to be a big one for Kritipat because he needs to make sure that he keeps that gap, because he's lucky that Hiroki Ono did not get a great finish. Hiroki Ono crashed out early on in the AP 250 race 1. In the Supersport 600, now this was a bit chaotic because we saw Herjun Adnan Firdaus crashing out of turn 1 and Anupap crashing later on, which let Kasma come through in second and Tanat Lampliao in third. And victorious for the first time in the Supersport 600 was Wahyu Nugroho. Now in the ASB 1000s, it was a battle of 2. Hafiz Sharin and Kito Abe, and they had us on the edge of our seats right until the second last turn. It was a really good race from Kito and Hafiz, but this brings Hafiz now to 7 race victories in a row. So the bikes are heading out on track. We got race 2 happening later on. Let's begin with warm-up and Barry Russell in the commentary box.
And good morning and greetings from the commentary box. We're situated just above the start-finish line, above the pits, and we are delighted to be here for race 2 today and the warm-up this morning for this round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. The weather so far this weekend until yesterday afternoon has been clear and sunny, a little bit more cloud around. Cloud came over and just started to cool the track a little bit yesterday, and already today there's a bit more cloud, so we could be racing once again in perfect conditions. So this morning is warm-up time. We have warm-up sessions for each category, and that gives us a chance to reflect on what happened yesterday, and also for us to bring you some interviews with Daniel in the pit lane with some of the key characters from yesterday. So we have a 10-minute warm-up session for the TVS Racing International Championship. So these riders are out now and getting down to it. Warm-up's important because there could be some setup changes from yesterday. Maybe they need to bed in new brake discs and so on. So warm-up is important, even though the times may not signify what we might see in the race. However, somebody going wide there and kicking up some dust early on. So what we saw yesterday really was something that started in Motegi, and that's a bit of a swing from Asian riders to European riders, and specifically Iberian riders, because the front 3 on the grid were Vicente Selva, Pedrino Matos and Luis Miguel, and they finished in that order too. So Ramdan Rosley, who is the championship leader, healthy lead, 30 points, 120 ahead of Sartak Chavan. But in the race yesterday, it didn't go the way of the established contenders. So it was Vicente, Pedrino and Luis who made up the podium, and then missing out by just 0.003 of a second was Jin Kento Turner, the Japanese rider, and he was a 1/10 of a second ahead of Ramdan Rosley and Sartak Chavan, who had a battle, those two being at the top of the standings as things go. But we saw in 2023 when Hiroki Ono came in round 3 that even a late entry, if they're really dominant, can make a difference on the championship. So Sartak and Ramdan are going to be looking over their shoulders this weekend to see what they can do, particularly about Vicente Perez-Selfa. Vicente running number 19. We'll just call out some of the runners and riders as we see them. Number 3 there is Luis Miguel. Luis, although he's been a contender since the start of the year, now he seems to be part of an Iberian, Spain and Portugal movement towards taking over the lead in this championship. Number 10, Oratori Piri, rising star, the 17-year-old South African. A little off the pace in the race yesterday in the second group. So he'll be looking to recover his podium form that we've seen earlier. Number 16 is Nakib Rifki, the Malaysian rider, also very quick. Looking for improvements from him too. And the number 21 is a new Indian rider into this series, just exposing himself to racing at this level, is Savion Sabu. Ramdan Rosley is the rider with the quickest time so far, or it was. Now his championship rival, Sartak Chavan. Sartak, who we should say missed Motegi, he was away in Europe on other duties. But Ramdan didn't capitalise as he might have done on the absence of Sartak Chavan. So the difference in championship points as of yesterday is exactly 30 points. Vicente Perez just 18 thousandths of a second slower than Perez, and Oratowi just behind them, 2/10 behind them, on about the same time as Ramdan Rosley. Sorry, back again now. Of the other riders from yesterday, Chirag Vishwanath, winner of race 1 in Motegi, and came in riding on a wave of strong confidence. Finished down the order, just over 1 second behind the winner in P7. So that tells you just how tight and how competitive this category is. In Motegi, he just beat Vicente on the line, but Vicente came back in race 2 and took a convincing win. So we'll be watching this afternoon in race 1 whether Vicente Perez can repeat that performance and get away from the gap. Also notably out on track at the moment is Vorapong Malahuan. Vorapong, who started all this TVS racing 5 years ago. And the championship, under his guidance and leadership and rider coaching that he's been doing, has been getting better and better. So 1 second covering the top 7 yesterday. So the question is, will Vicente Pedrinho Matos, who was blisteringly fast yesterday. Indeed, starting from pole position too. Will they be able to hold their momentum and push the established Asian stars like Sartak, like Ramdan Rosli, to keep them behind? And what can some of the new young guns do, like Oratui? A measure of the conditions here, just 45 minutes to the checkered flag, is that Ramdan Rosli's quickest time, 1:45.5, is about a second quicker than the best race time yesterday. So that speaks a lot to the conditions here. 12 going through there is Fadil Al-Ghassani. Real talented rider, but needs to get to grips with this TVS Apache. And Laura Pong still within half a second of the best time of Ramdan Rosli, even though he's not racing. So Vorapong lapping faster than the race times yesterday. So checkered flag is out now. So some pretty quick times being recorded in these cool conditions at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. So for race 2 this afternoon, I'm anticipating that the conditions will be more overcast and therefore track temperatures cooler. So let's see what happens. These group of riders, most of them came out together, most of them finished together this 10-minute session. And the riders you might expect at the top of these warm-up timing screens. So Ramdan Rosli, 1:45.5, Sartak just a shade behind that, and Perez just behind that. Daniel Bogus has just bounded up the stairs to the commentary booth. Let's take a look at those results. Ramdan Rosli, good time for him. Hopefully that bodes well for this afternoon. He can improve on his 5th place finish. Then it was Sartak Chavan, he was 6th yesterday. Yesterday's winner, Vicente Perez Selfa, with 1:45.7. Warapong, who we won't be seeing this afternoon, 1:45.8. And then Luis Miguel did a 1:46. Jinkento Turner, who narrowly missed out on the podium by 0.03 of a second yesterday, 6th. Then it was Oratowi Piri and Nakib Rifki. Both those last two riders hoping for better things this afternoon. And the Colombian rider, John Lopez, was 9th quickest. And then it was Leandro Paredes, the Filipino rider, improving all the time. Indian newcomer Savion Sabu, 11th quickest, 1:46.6. Then it was Rakshit Sahari Dave, Fadil Al-Ghassani, Sharon Vishwanath, leisurely Sunday ride for him, 1:46.898, and Anthony Dominguez, 1:46.9. Those are your 15 competitors for this afternoon. No time recorded for Pedrinho Matos, which is a bit of a mystery. But he will be starting from pole position, assuming all is well, this afternoon. So stay with us. Next up, we've got another 10-minute session for the Underbone 150s. Lots and lots to talk about there. We'll leave you with some highlights of that session and the views, and the view of the circuit that's been picked out by some canny local spectators. So stay with us. We're at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit for round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Welcome back to Sunday warm-up here at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit, where we are getting ready for race 2 this afternoon for round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Warm-up sessions for all 5 classes this morning. We've had TVS already, and now we are good to go with the Underbone 150s. Like TVS, 10-minute warm-up session, so time for these guys to get their eye in and test out any new bits, bed in brake pads, whatever they need to do in the morning session. It was a good race yesterday with all the usual suspects crowding the bid for the win. Only 3 riders, of course, were able to make it. So after all the toing and froing, the rider that came through and ended up winning by 0.6 of a second was Husni Zainal Fauzi. 0.6 of a second being almost a different postcode in Underbone terms. And behind him was another local favourite, Rendio Ding, and an Indonesian Underbone racing legend, Wayuaji Trilaksana, for HDS Youngstar Kawahara Race Tech 60. Very popular podium, just missing out Fadli Ragani, Axel Ilham and wildcard Daniel Demar, who's been going well all weekend. The different stages in the race, Daniel, we saw really good performances, promising performances from Akbar Afdallah, from Ilan Effendi, April King Moscado, Shafiq Rasol. Shafiq ended up finishing 14th.
Yeah, after qualifying on 3rd. It was a difficult race for Shafiq, but it's a difficult race for everyone. I mean, the group was so large for the race, and it's what we expected on the bones, and it got a bit spicy towards the end as well. It's not easy. It's not easy. You can have a great qualifying day, but unless you're Husni Zainal Fauzi, it almost doesn't guarantee anything.
Well, that's right, and significant for the championship as well. Although we know Husni has a monstrous lead on top. 2 of his closest contenders, Dimas Juliat Moko and Shurat Sauki, crashed out in the later stages of the race. So that left him with Husni with an added advantage, and just a slightly added advantage over Rendio Ding, who now has a 20-point gap back to Dimas and Shurat Sauki. Trundling along there is Shafiq Rasol. And the rider at the top of the timing screen there, Adib Arshad for Uma Racing. He was another of the riders that were looking threatening, but ended up finishing down the order. So in the group there, the last rider to pick up a point, that was the rider just disappeared to the right of your screen, Fazrul Sham for Cardinals Racing.
Husni's lead at the top right now is 43 points.
Yeah.
If you have 125 points remaining.
That's it. So champion and defending champion, championship leader.
I think it's going to be a challenge for Husni. Will be just Rendy so far, because Rendy's really turned on something new since Motegi, because he's had some strong finishes, and Motegi was where you started seeing Rendy really as a proper threat for victory contention.
That's right. Yeah, 2 podiums. Yeah. Just getting 2 podiums in Underbones in a weekend is quite a feat. The 2 P2s in Motegi for Rendy. Another P2 yesterday. So while he's 43 points behind Husni, he's 20 points above Dimas Juli and Shurat Sauki. So Rendy looking good, really made a mark in the championship this year. We've seen him in TVS as well, here at Mandalika. But we're really seeing what he can do here in a good team for S1M Evo Yamaha Racing. Fadli Regani also yesterday gave us some excitement.
Yeah, another rider I was impressed by was Aditya Fauzi yesterday, finishing well after having a really tough time in qualifying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, surprised at Aditya because he goes so well. Well, he goes so well, full stop. But especially here.
You know, I think this season's been a bit of a struggle for him. Started off decently in Sepang, and then back in the Changi International Circuit, he managed at least one podium. And then it was just a bit of a struggle in Motegi for the first race, and again, he's always been there. He's always been scoring points, but just that finishing touch hasn't been there this season compared to last season.
Yeah, looking very aggressive there, alongside yesterday's winner was the rider that gave us heart failure yesterday, Silmi Helsinki, who crashed, and most of the field were behind him at the time, and somehow he landed in the middle of the track, spinning in the middle of the track, and somehow the other riders managed to avoid him.
So we're very happy to see Silmi okay after that incident. It was scary, then it's good to see him out now and actually putting in some good laps.
Yeah, he's looking punchy now.
Bit of a wobble under the brakes for Silmi. It's easy to have a moment on the front, especially with these underbones going into the second to last turn. It's so light at the front, and you're trying to put a lot of pressure on it. Silmi goes top now, 54.668.
Yeah. Not shaken and not stirred by yesterday's incident. It's impressive.
Indeed. There's Warren Weller for MS Glow for men heading back in. So yeah, it's race day. Final race day for Lintas Fortuna Nusantara FIM Asia Road Racing Championship.
Yeah. It was a fast and furious session for the underbones. All done, but Silmi Helsinki with that really aggressive last lap takes the glory that glory exists indeed for topping the warm-up screens. But 154.668, that was his time. Very good time indeed, if you're talking about race pace. And then Ahmad Dawish for UZ Asia team, best Honda. And then Dimas Juliet Moko also recovering well from his crash yesterday. Husni for 0 LFN HP 969, Adeline MCR RBT 34. Fourth quickest, then Fadli Regani, Elmelson Effendi, 0 LFN's wildcard for this round. And in ninth, crashed yesterday, but still with a shout at least P2 in the championship, Shurat Sauki. Daniel Damar for Yamaha LFN HP 969. And then another rider that was exciting yesterday, Akbar Abud Afdallah. Nazrul Izzat, 2023 champion for Uma Racing, was 12th quickest. Then it was Aditya Fauzi, John Emerson in Gito, and Ahmad Fazrul Sham, 15th in warm-up, and indeed 15th yesterday in race 1. April King Moscato, Race Tech Yamaha Philippines, 16th quickest, 157.8 for him. And then Hafid Pratamaditya Nusandi, 17th, 18th Gupita Krishna, 19th P3 yesterday, Wayuaji Trilaksana. And then Timothy Rojas, Kiki Suderman and Muzakir Mohammed for Vosges AS25, a racing team, did a 159.235. And then it was Afizi Supat, Zakir's teammate for Vosges AS25. Shara Shazras, 2 minutes recorded for him. Wawan Wello for MS Glow for men, 2 minutes for him too. Randy Oding, quiet outing for him, and there was no time recorded for Akshal Ilham Safatullah for team One for All. So that is the underbones done. We'll show you some highlights while we wait a few minutes for the next session, which will be the warm-up for the AP250s. So stay with us here at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. We are here for LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship, round 4. Welcome back to warm-up, everyone. We are on track now with the AP 250s. A 10-minute session for the quarter-litre class here at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. And the rider on your screen there, the number 76, is Hiroki Ono, still listed as a replacement rider, and yet still a championship contender. But he gave a Christmas present. Christmas came early for Kritapat Kankum from Yamaha Thailand Racing Team yesterday. Not only did Kritapat ride a beautifully judged race to take a win and 25 points to extend his lead at the top of the standings, but his main rival Hiroki Ono made a rare mistake, crashed out, ended up finishing 22nd and therefore scoring 0 points. So the standings look very interesting now, with Hiroki Ono still on 93 points and Kritapat on 137. So a healthy lead there, and just closing the gap a little bit on Hiroki Ono as Reza Danica RNs, but those first three were in position. 31 there, Gary Salim had a great race yesterday. It was good to see the private team, MS Glover men, put that Honda on the podium. Gary had a really solid race. You could just sense the experience. He was patient, he worked his way up and was in position at just the right time to get himself into third place. Number 39 there is Kritapat Kankum. The looming threat of Hiroki Ono remains, but that was a bit of a gift to Kritapat yesterday, and he really made the most of it by bagging 25 points. So let's pick out some of the riders we can see in shot here. It wasn't the best of days for the Kawasaki's. There is Andy Fadley, number 108. As a wild card for the second time this year for Pro Power Antares. He's got Gao Jiang, Team 1-4 Yamaha rider, just in front of him. But looking good in practice and qualifying, but didn't really come good for the Kawasaki's yesterday, Daniel.
Yeah, early on, he was staying with the group, but still fading a little bit towards the end. Not sure whether that was extra weight just making it harder to manage the grip towards the end. Because we saw, looking at the TVS tires, they were quite beaten up after their race. So I'm wondering whether the Kawasaki's are struggling just because of that extra weight towards the end. Try and see and have a word with them later on and see what we can find out.
Yeah, all three riders from Pro Power Antares finished further down than we would have expected because they qualified well.
Indeed. Yeah, at least for Andy. Una, of course, because of the crash, struggled a bit to get good positions and understandably wouldn't have had the best feelings in the race. But for Andy, we were expecting at least a top 10 at the very least, but just couldn't get it going towards the end.
Yeah, Una finishing down in 17th place yesterday, but we ran into him last night, didn't we? And he's still sounding very optimistic. He's got stitches in his forehead, but he says that's not causing him any undue comfort.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good attitude, hasn't he?
Indeed.
And a really good rider.
Yeah, I think the Antares team, they've really got a healthy environment and everyone's very supportive of each other, and that's been helping them to slowly get the results that they want.
Yeah, speaking out of this group, we can see back with the group including Andy Fadley. And I think I can see the number 24 Team 1-4 bike of Pirapong. in there as well. Bit of a quiet one for Pirapong yesterday. Fahmi Bassam came through, another really good race from Fahmi to finish second. But the final turn was a drama, where it's a 31 bike field and it's really crowded with, let me see, 2 seconds covering the top 9 finishers, and a lot of them got tangled up. Some of them made errors, other riders found themselves following the wrong rider and going offline, in a kind of an unforced error, and Kritapat went through there absolutely perfectly and was just over a second ahead at the end from Fahmi and from Gary Salim.
Yeah, I think Kritapat rode a brilliant final lap. He found the exact line that he wanted to take and stuck with it, whereas everyone else was just battling for it. I think it was mega impressive, especially with his RPM cut, 400 RPM. It's quite difficult, but he's managed it very, very well.
Yeah, and good work by the team as well.
Indeed.
To get the mapping right.
I was impressed with Gary Salim. It was a really good race for him. It's a good season. It's a really good debut season for him and the team. In the first full season entry, finishing on the podium, and they were straight away on the phone with Dimas Eki Pratama. So right now, Gary sits 6th in the championship. This gives him actually a good hope for fighting for the top 3 spots. I think for the championship title, it's a bit of a margin now, but definitely for those top 3 spots, very possible for Gary and MS Glow for men.
Yeah, I mean, two podiums at the halfway point in the season. That's got to be good. 57, Daniel Sharmi, a rider that a lot of us have fancied as a rising star. And he hasn't shone as brightly as we thought he might do.
Yeah, he's been struggling last season when they debuted this bike. They entered with basically a stock R3. And they finally got some racing parts in about midway, and that's when we saw here where Dennis Shami came up into a good form. And ever since then, it's starting the new season. There was a new engine again for them, trying new parts. It just didn't work out right. Last weekend I saw them riding in MSBK and they were doing great, but I think maybe they did some more experimentation this weekend and it's not gone right again. So yeah, difficult for Dennis Shami. Big talent. It's just been, well, for any talent who starts on a brand new bike, a brand new project, it can either go brilliantly well instantly or it'll be a struggle for a bit.
Sure, a single bike team too.
Yeah, exactly. Their data the data solely relies on him. There isn't a Yamaha Malaysia team in the 250s, so they don't have anyone for as a reference.
Yeah, good point. And of the wildcards for Team ACR, it was a surprise to see Tiranai Tuptim, who's a contracted Yamaha Thailand rider, go in. So it's good cooperation going on there.
I think Yamaha Thailand have probably lent an engine to ACR because they've never been able to really run 2 bikes, ACR. Even in MSBK they run Nazrul Izzat instead of Jazil. And the bike is looking a lot faster than it should be for ACR. And not to discredit them, they've done amazing work with what they have.
Sure.
Non-factory team coming into ARC, even with Nazrul Izzat, they've done good work. But I think it's good for them as well, having Yamaha Thailand step in with Tiranai. It'll be good for their development as well.
Yeah, definitely. They need to give him some track time.
Yeah. And that's Hiroki Ono.
Yeah, he's top up, and it'd be great to see. Hand up, he's getting out of the way. It'd be great to see how he responds to that error yesterday. I suspect I know what the response is going to be.
Indeed. 44 points the gap, mathematically still very much possible. In theory, will it come through for him? He doesn't think about the championship. He goes race by race. Race by race is where it will be concerning for Kritapat.
Yeah. Yeah.
As of right now, between the top 5, down to Panjarook, who only scored a single point yesterday. That gap is still big. So if I remember correctly, that means next round, Krittipat will have another cut, which means that's 600 RPM. And we head to Sepang.
Yeah. Yeah. Sepang, you need all the revs you can lay your hands
Indeed.
on.
So it'll be interesting. 125 points left, including today's race. How many of those 125 will Krittipat secure? How many of those 125 will Hiroki manage to win?
Yeah, Irfan Ardiansha, checkered flag comes out there, second quickest, but he was disappointing yesterday.
Yeah, it was strange.
I think he went adrift in that
Must be, I mean...
Turn 16 comedy show that we saw.
Yeah. It's a shame for Irfan, because he's done a great job this season as a replacement.
Yeah, now officially a wild card, which is great, because that's where he came from. Well, 146.249 was the fastest time of the session to Hiroki Ono, who scored no points yesterday and will be looking to make that up today, no doubt. Irfan Ardiansha, we were just talking about, 146.291, just a fraction behind. Third quickest and third yesterday was Gary Salim for MS Global Men Racing Team. Rekat Yusuf for Yamaha LFN HP 969 fourth. Then it was his teammate Fahmi Bassam. Chiranai Tubtin, wildcard in for Team ACR this weekend, as we were talking. Fadil Masyavi, exciting young Indonesian rider, 7th quickest, and Reza Danica Arens, 6th yesterday, 8th in warm-up. Andy Fadley, 147.629 for the Pro Power Antares star, and Aiki Yoshi, former teammate of Andy Fadley, now with Team SGG with Hark Pro. Chandra Hermawan, impressive yesterday, ended up 4th. Pirapong Nu Peng was 12th quickest. Then Afifam Ran for Aeon Credit, JQK Zinnages Cardinals. Rish Takahira, yet to fulfill his potential, was next up. And then Daniel Shami, we're also talking about for Uma Racing Yamaha. Chen Zhang, 148.037 for the improving Chinese rider. Another, I wouldn't say Chinese rider, sort of Hong Kong. Zhong Wen-zhe for Tianyu Asia Racing MFZ. And then Yun Hu Tri, 19th quickest for UZ Asia. Aldiaz Axel Ismail, Yamaha Baf Yamalube, and Idil Fitri Mahadi was 21st for Victor Racing. Team 1 for All's Gao Jiang, 22nd with a 148.145. This is the biggest field in the Asia Road Racing Championship. Panjarook Chitwarul single point for him yesterday for Honda Racing Thailand. And then it's Unai Kalafayud for Pro Power Antares. Kayo Sato for Servo Sport Hyper Sport Racing by 1010, the Indian-based team. Jazul Jarami with Team ACR, 26th, 27th Irfan Haikal, 28th Badli Ayatollah for Astra Honda, and then Carlson Jacob for SDG. Raiku Hasagara had a miserable outing yesterday, and there was no time recorded for Gowing Hendra, who had a heavy crash yesterday and may be out on medical grounds. We wish him well. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll show you the race highlights from yesterday, and then when we come back it will be with the warm-up session for the Supersport 600s. So stay with us here at Mandalika. It's round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Welcome back to the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. This is warm-up morning with me, Barry Russell, and Daniel Bogers, taking you through the warm-up and giving our thoughts on what happened yesterday. And just a reminder before we get into the Supersport review that we've got a pit walk coming up for you after warm-up finishes. This is the penultimate session. ASP 1000s will be out, and then from 10:45 there will be a pit walk, which is more of a carnival. If you're from Indonesia, you'll enjoy it. If you're not from Indonesia and you're here on holiday, and we know a lot of people are, then you will enjoy some Indonesian culture as well as meeting some of the riders. It's really worth making the trip down here. So, on with the Supersport 600s. Well, yesterday, Wahyu Nugroho took a win and earned himself, in my opinion anyway, the Rider of the Day award, because he did it under pressure from everybody that matters in the category. It was his first win. He's done a good job all weekend, strong throughout Friday practice, qualified third alongside Kazma Daniel and Herjan Atner, and came through to take the win, and he said under all kinds of pressure. Kazma Daniel, that was, I can't remember seeing anyone quite so happy at finishing second.
Yeah, indeed.
Because the point was, it was great for the championship because Wahyu was not in contention, and Anupab Samoon went out, Herjan Atner went out, and so it really was a bit of a gift for Kazma. He rode brilliantly, coming through strong in the later stages of the race. Yeah, what did you make of it, Daniel?
Yeah, I think Kazma, at one point it looked like he was going to be completely off the podium. It just looked like he couldn't really get the bike set in, couldn't really ride it the way he wanted to, and then suddenly after Herjan goes down, you see Kazma start thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to push, and that's when we saw Kazma closing the gap a bit more. And when Anupab went down, I think that's when Kazma said, okay, thank you very much, I see Tanat only now.
Yeah.
It was a good recovery from Kazma after what looked like might be a difficult race for him. Tanat as well came through strongly, tried to get closer to Wahyu. Ultimately, Wahyu was just untouchable.
Yeah, we were talking about this last night, and neither of us could recall seeing him make an error.
Yeah, not at all. I don't think there was a twitch. I don't think there was a moment for Wahyu. He was just in perfect form.
Yeah, so let's see what he can do this time around as a follow-up. He's certainly going to be riding high after that. Teammate Ferozi Torakotula just behind him, behind Kazma there. And there is Tanat Longpleau. Tanat, another good race for him yesterday. Another podium finish. So he's placed himself well in the standings.
Yeah, just 10 points behind Kazma now.
Yeah, I mean they are pretty tight. Kazma's now got a 10-point lead over Tanat, and then 0 score for Anupab means he's 11 points further, sorry, 9 points further down. Here's Iqmal. We've yet to see his potential realised on a 600.
It's a shame because, yeah, well, for those who don't know, I've known Izam since he was a very young boy. We used to do training together, and I've seen him a number of times on the 600s. This season hasn't been a reflection of his talent, and it's unfortunate. He's been working so hard in the past couple of months as well. He's doing weeks of bike training, fitness as well, trying to extract more from himself, and yeah, just package isn't matching yet. Victor Racing are trying everything they can to deliver. I sure do hope they get more support soon so that their dreams can be realized, and so can Izam's.
Yeah, and there is one of what a striking machine that is.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's Go for Men Honda CBR. Surprisingly, in a 15-minute session, making a pit stop. But that in the hands this weekend of Felix Putra, as the regular rider Dimaseki Pratama is away racing in the Baggers World Cup at Silverstone. And good to see Felix here again. I'm sure he was a lot smaller last time I saw him in that RFC.
He was indeed.
Now he literally towers above me. He must be 182, 183 centimetres.
Yeah, I reckon about that. Yeah, he's a tall kid, Felix. Oh, he's not so much a kid anymore. He's 19, but he's got mega potential. Nitty Racing have put a lot of belief in him, and MS Glow for Men this weekend as well. I think he's doing a fair job as a stand-in for Dimas Pratama. Dimas has been watching the races. He's in Silverstone right now, so when he called,
Yes,
well, when
8 hours 8 hours behind. Yeah.
So when Gary Sullivan was on the podium, he was instantly on the phone.
Right.
And I saw them having a chat at Park Ferme. Yeah, so yeah, Felix, for that matter, I think he's done decently. He rode a decent race yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about in the 250s, Pro Para Antares being a team that's got a really good vibe going, and MS Glow for Men is another one.
Yeah.
Non-factory team, but with a really good spirit.
Yeah, MS Glow for Men is a skincare brand from Indonesia, and it's a huge one, I think the biggest one, and yeah, they've done some great work in the racing side of things, bringing in some top riders from Indonesia and developing quite well. Someone made a big mistake there going into the last turn, but didn't see who that was. It's good to see MS Glow for Men, and as Dimas has told us early in the season, the plan is a very long one with the team, so we look forward to seeing more riders come through for them, and perhaps some extra bikes as well.
Yeah, they've got a real leader in the team as well in the form of Dimas, haven't they? He's got such a presence in racing, given his career and what he's achieved so far, but just his persona, he's just right for this kind of project.
Indeed. I think I speak for a lot of those who were racing back when Dimas was active in Spain and such, where he was really one of those riders you look up to growing up, and yeah, for MS Glow for Men, he's a great person to have. I'm pretty sure he will steer that ship into the right direction. I mean, he already has.
Yeah. So riders looking for improvements today include the two Malaysians for Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia. One of them is there, 32, Helmi Asman. Yeah, had a difficult weekend. Ended up finishing 10th yesterday. 39 seconds down on the winner. That doesn't reflect in any way Helmi Asman's quality. Karalit Pawi finished 6th, 21 seconds down. So Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia really needing to find something. Number 89 just flashed on our screen there. He doesn't so much need to find something as not lose anything.
Yeah, I think he's found the right setup. His riding is really good around here, so yeah, for a while he's just about finding the similar momentum. Helmi and Kasma there getting to a bit of a knot. Helmi was shaking his head there. Didn't see what happened to Kasma, but Helmi was affected. As he continues on. Adria Gaska, I'm going to look to see whether he can give us something special today. He rode a decent race.
Yeah, 5th P5, 16 seconds back.
If he can find at least, I think if he can find a few tenths per lap in the race too, he should be at least within another top 5 finish.
Yeah, another of Indonesia's many rising stars.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend we've been talking about the fan base here in Indonesia for motorcycle racing being on the kind of the Asian version of Spain or Italy, with the levels of enthusiasm for the sport.
Indeed. Look at the talents, the list goes on and on.
And yeah, and I was going to say, if you look at the way the talent's coming through, just rider after rider after rider, and they're all brilliant, and that can't be an accident.
Exactly. I mean, you have Aldi Satya Mahendra, Veda Ega, Kiana Ramadipa, you have Arai Gaska, and many more younger talents who are in Spain right now as well. It's amazing.
That's the session done, and it looks like championship leader Kazma was quickest. Some cloud bubbling up there. It is forecast for today, so we should have cooler conditions for race 2 this afternoon. 1:37.5 was Kazma's time in that warm-up session. Then Anupam Samoon, who will surely be looking for greater things in race 2, having crashed out yesterday. Wayne Agroho, decent session for him. He just needs to keep doing what he was doing yesterday. Herjanatna, like Anupam, he needs to stay on the bike and finish well today. Tanat Longpliao, having a really good spell in Supersport 600. Helmi Asman, Mitsubishi Honda Racing Malaysia. Ferozi Torakatula, Wayne Agroho's teammate, 7th quickest, 1:38.2. Carolyn Powie for Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia, did a 1:38.4. And Araya Gaska did a 1:38.6. And then it was McKinley Carl Paz, who again came good late in the race yesterday. And Izam Iqmal, we were talking about. Felix Putra also under discussion, 1:40.1 for the young Indonesian. The Victor Racing's Zhao Tianhao, the 1:46.336. He's improving, and there was no time recorded for Kitadar Tanachot. We will see him later. The young rider for Honda Racing Thailand, having scored 2 podiums this time last year. So, short break for us now. We'll show you highlights of yesterday's race. And when we come back, it will be for the last warm-up session of the ASB 1000s, and what a race we had there as well. So stay with us, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit, and for round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Daniel Bogas and I have been talking you through the warm-up sessions and just breaking down what happened in race 1 yesterday. And we had one of the best superbike races at the front of the field anyway yesterday that I can remember, with an incredible defensive performance by Hafiz Shirin and an incredible attacking performance by this rider, number 39 on the SDG Honda, Kito Abe. What did you take out of that, Daniel?
I think Kito was brilliant, but I also think Hafiz was brilliant. Hafiz was, well, didn't really make a mistake. He was in control. Then, despite the pressure, didn't crack. Kito was just beastly, but just couldn't get the legs on that Ducati.
No, that's right. That's right. There was nothing either of them could really have done better.
Yeah. I think, yeah, for our championship at least, you just saw the best Ducati rider versus the best Honda rider, and they went toe to toe, and it was great. It was a great watch. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hardly looked at what was happening elsewhere in the field,
yep,
because Kito was so threatening that you really couldn't take your eyes off that battle at the front. We did see some other decent performances, but they were in a different category altogether.
Indeed.
Because the top 2 finishes were 8 seconds clear of Nakarina Tirapuvapat, who finished 3rd to pick up another podium for the Thai rider, but he had no answer for them. And coming in 4th, only 1 second behind Nakarin, was our favourite young German rising star, Rocco Sessler, on the 40 Forged Asia BMW M1000 RR. Great performance from Rocco, who also qualified 4th.
Yeah. It was a shame for another BMW, Lachlan Epis.
Yeah.
Who hasn't done this ever since he was 14, as he's posted on his Instagram. A jump start. And yeah, it's unfortunate for him. He was just eager to get going. But despite the jump start, he still started well. And unfortunately for him, after he took the long lap penalty, because he was telling me that he was pretty confident he could still make it and catch up at least for a top 2 finish, he had a puncture.
Yeah, I noticed his pace was nowhere near what I was expecting.
Yeah, he showed me a video of how flat the tire was once he come back in, and yeah, it was really unlucky. So, new day for Lachlan. The good thing is his confidence is high. And he was saying, well, the last time he got a podium and then not a great finish on day 2, so he said it might be better to
maybe flip it.
Yeah, flip it and leave Mandalika on an absolute high.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, qualified 3rd behind Hafiz and Kito. So yeah, BMW's looking really competitive here. In the hands of Lachlan and in the hands of Rocco Sessler. There's the 21 and 20 in that order on track. Zakwan Zaidi and Azroy Anwar. They finished 7th and 8th respectively, which again is underperforming expectations for riders of their caliber. But it's been 7 out of 7. 7 starts, 7 wins for the rider on your screen now. JDT Racing's Hafiz Shirin Abdullah. He goes round the show in entertainment corner.
I found Anthony West's performance impressive in the race after missing out so much track time on Friday. 36.3, his best time in the race, and yeah, finishing 8th. Ahead of Azroy.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, Habitator in the race. Best time 37.0. Just couldn't find the pace. If it was an error at the start, you'd think eventually he would find his pace again, but 37 is not at all.
No, the leaders all in the mid to low 135s.
Yeah, in the race the fastest time was a 35.4. That was by Hafiz Sharin and Kito Abe. Hafiz a 35.401, Kito Abe 35.478. Rocco was really close as well. Rocco 35.8.
Yeah, he put that. I think that was on either the second last or the third last lap. He did his best lap.
Look at Lachlan riding that bike with confidence. Yeah, he's ready for a scrap.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
To that section there.
Yeah, he loves this circuit. A lot of riders have commented on that, haven't they?
Yeah,
how much they like this circuit. And it's easy to understand why when you look at the track map and when you ride around it as well. Which I haven't, but you have, Daniel.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to praise my home circuit, this is my new favorite circuit now. Sepang's brilliant, but Mandalika has that flow that suits certain people, and it suits me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but happily I've walked and run around it a few times, and I really think this is a fantastic circuit for racing. And you see in all the categories that come here, all the international championships, you always get good racing here.
Indeed. It's a great track. It's got good grip as well now. The tarmac is seasoned in.
Yeah, we used to hear about tyre problems, and indeed in this championship witnessed tyre problems in the early days, but those have been well and truly sorted out. You don't hear about them anymore.
Yeah, Dunlop have done really good work to develop some really good tyres for Mandalika. And yeah, they really put in extra effort by bringing in an extra medium and a hard compound specifically for this round.
Yeah, the way and West is riding that bike. He's really enjoying himself out there.
Yeah, I think especially on that Yamaha, he can let that bike sing through the revs. It just suits a bike like Yamaha, really. It's just a little bit more power is needed, but
yeah,
it's brought the Yamaha closer than it should be.
Yeah, that riding style though, familiar to anybody in motorcycle racing that's been following it for a few years. 45 years old now, but no signs of slowing down.
Yeah.
The season's been difficult for him. He did pick up a hand injury.
Yeah, hand injury.
In racing in Australia.
Oh, this is a good lap. This is going to be potentially in the 35s for Anthony West, which will be the first of the weekend for him. Let's see, he comes around the last turn now. It is. It's going to be 35.8. Whoa! 35.819 from Anthony West.
Yeah, 36.3 was his best race time yesterday. So he's had limited track time. He's making the most of it, isn't he? Still going.
That's mega, though. If he can find that pace in the race later on this afternoon, this could be the biggest opportunity for a podium for the Moto2Go Yamaha.
Yeah, they put a lot into it. So it'll be good to see them get results, and this circuit, out of all the circuits we visit, is the one where the Yamaha is at the least disadvantage. Changing wrong. I tell you what, his team did a fantastic job in getting him into the race yesterday.
Yeah, I was surprised.
A humongous crash in qualifying.
I was amazed that the bike was put back together in time because, yeah, the bike tumbled through, and yeah, good work from the team for Dr. Mike.
Yeah, 44's Ajo Racing team did a magnificent job there.
Watanabe didn't have a good race yesterday. Stuck in the 37s. Fastest lap at 37.1. It was a bit of a strange one for Kazuki. Was expecting him to be at least closer to the top 8, especially with that Aprilia, but it seems that he's still struggling to find that setup.
Yeah, and it's a case of, you know, if anybody can, Watanabe can, but he's struggling to find it.
Anthony West on the last lap clocked at 36.1, and he's going quicker again now. So Anthony West is looking like he's got good pace. We will look out for him in the race later. Zakwan has been riding with that medium front, so some experimentation going on for Zakwan Zaidi.
Yeah, man, Azroy indeed. Yesterday they were the only two contenders to ran with the medium front.
Zakwan then improving through sector 2, and he comes into sector 3 now.
136.1 was his best time in the race yesterday.
Quito and Hafiz are running together on track. That's interesting. Both of them came in, and now they're both locked behind each other.
That's funny, because there was a real edge between them last year, as we were recalling with some amusement yesterday. Now there seems to be an emerging bromance.
Yeah, I was going to say, have they become best friends?
It's disturbing.
Zakwan comes across 36.7. Decent, but it's not going to be enough. He needs to find at the very least, a very low 36 to be in contention for a top 5. Which he did find in the race, but the warm-up now struggling a bit.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of the timing screen at this point. Hafiz and West, Quito, Abe.
I mean, the top 4 are all different manufacturers.
Yeah.
Ducati, Yamaha, Honda and BMW. And who would have thought the Yamaha at this point is above the Honda? But Anthony West, brilliant from the experienced Aussie.
Yeah. Got to expect he can maintain it during the race. Good, his tyre management, racecraft, his patience, his ruthlessness all come together when he's on a competitive package. It's the only Indonesian in the race here is the recovering from injury Adinanta Putra. He's been giving it his best shot. Finished 6th yesterday. Qualified 6th as well. So doing as much as he can, the class rookie.
Yeah, I mean, for someone carrying a shoulder injury, he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, there's a lot of shoulder exercise here.
Yeah, very much so. And as Azan Shah mentioned in a video posted on social media, with the strong winds, you are working hard on that bike to turn it. Every change of direction just becomes that much more difficult, and Adinanta, especially with his lanky figure, is going to feel that even more. So he's done amazingly.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember with the music, it's making me laugh now, is that, and West just pushed a little bit too hard. So that Moto Go Yamaha in the gravel. He's okay. A little bit annoyed with himself, perhaps. The burly Australian is probably going to pick it straight up, or is he? Somebody else's job.
He's just grabbing the winglets. Those are the expensive bits.
Right. Yeah, running a roofing business in Australia these days.
Running, what business?
Roofing.
Roofing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. That bike tumbled around. That is a big one, but good to see Anthony West is okay. Yeah, roofing business.
Yeah. Yeah, his Instagram posts have got lots of racing, lots of roofing.
Double R.
Yeah.
There's Kazuki Watanabe as we follow Nakare now. Behind him is Rocco Sessler and Josh Waters. Josh, after the first crash on Friday, we thought will still be quite. Well, he would have quite a bit of fight for the podium positions, but after qualifying and race one, it's strange. It's strange. He started so well, and maybe that second crash just shook him a bit.
Yeah, I still think it's probably not that, because he's so seasoned. He's so experienced.
I mean, just comparing to the pace he had on free practice 3.
Yeah, I agree, because on Friday we thought, oh, here he comes.
Yeah.
He's going to be good in qualifying and all of that, and he was qualified 10th in the end. Finished 9th in the race, behind Ant West and Lachlan Eppes. In fact, 3 Australians, 7, 8 and 9.
Yeah, Rocco Nakaren getting a bit wild on the exit of the last turn there. Kazuki Watanabe, that's blown past by the Honda horsepower.
Yeah, that was a typical move, as we just paused for a moment to admire the drone shot there. It really does look like that in real life, ladies and gentlemen.
This is not filtered, this is not LETs, this is just Lombok's brilliance.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So if you needed another reason to come and watch ARC here today, there's your reason.
Yeah. Call in sick on Monday and go surfing or go snorkeling or something like that.
Or fishing even.
Yeah.
There's Nakaren, we join them back now. Rocco has made it past Kazuki Watanabe. Josh Waters behind Kazuki now. So Josh in this session so far, he's done okay. He's been in the mid 36. Oh, someone else has gone down. That's a Honda Malaysia bike, I think. That is Azroy. Oh.
So
Azroy's problems from yesterday weren't enough. Now another crash.
Yeah, he's okay. Not so much as a hobble.
Here we join again the drone as it recalibrates.
Yeah.
And that's the view. Look at that. Right on the left of your screen, center left, that is the final section of this beautiful track. And right across you can see where the beach is. It's beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah, so if you do come here racing, you'll finish just in time so you can go off and catch the sunset. So checkered flag out now. And that 4 at the top we mentioned earlier, Ducati, Yamaha, Honda, BMW remain there. And the BMW of Rocco Sessler, 5th quickest. So crashes in that session for Ant West and Azroy, quite big ones too.
There's Rocco. Another decent session from Rocco.
Yeah, he's had a few P4s attached to his name, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm sure in his mind he's looking to make the next step.
Indeed. Just a little bit more for the 17-year-old. Then he improves on that last lap as well. Improved by 2/10, so good job from Rocco. Josh Waters, so yeah, Josh has improved up to 5th. There we go.
Okay.
Very low 36. Yeah, very low 36. 36-0 for Josh Waters, and he showed a thumbs up to Kazuki Watanabe by the looks of things, and I think maybe Kazuki helped him find the line somehow.
Right, so there we are, 135.213. That's a very good race pace indeed. That's a race winning pace for Hafiz Shirin, JDT Racing Team. And West, second quickest on the Moto Go Yamaha Fusport Racing R1. 135.8, although that did end up in a crash. Kito Abe, second yesterday, third in warm-up. Rocco Sessler, fourth yesterday, fourth in warm-up. And Josh Waters finding his form late in the warm-up. Lachlan F is 6th. Adinanta Putra 7th, 8th. Azroy, another crasher in that session, unfortunately. 136.323 was the best time for the Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia. And Zakwan Zaidi was 9th, and Nakarina Tirapuvapat 3rd yesterday, 10th in warm-up. Kazuki Watanabe we were just talking about. Joe Francis we didn't see on screen that time for Victor Racing, 137.9 for the Brit. Fahmi Abdul Wahab for 44 Racing Asia Racing Team, and Chan Ching Rong did a 146.414, so those two tied closely together. That brings us to the end of the warm-up session, and so coming up next, excuse me, in just 15 minutes from now, will be the pit walk. So if you're anywhere near Mandalika, if you're in Kuta or anywhere close to where we are right now, do come and join us for that, and we will be joined for race 2 this afternoon by Des Corkhill, the voice of ARRC. And so we're looking forward to some fantastic racing this afternoon. So join us here at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit for the closing day of round 4 of the LFN FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. We'll see you later.
selamat siang. Wow, silakan diberikan kuncinya, mana dia kunci motornya? Ibu, ini silakan langsung diambil, Bu. Ini kuncinya, Bu. Mami, berarti berapa lagi motor kita? 6 motor lagi.
10 sini. 10-nya apa? Bang, untuk audiens yang 5 sih.
Jadi motor kita adalah Yamaha Gear dan juga Yamaha Mio M3. Yes, motor kita adalah Yamaha Gear dan Silakan Kak, silakan Kak. Langsung. Iya nih Kak. Jadi mohon maaf ya, tapi nggak apa-apa. Kita harapkan dapat uang di sini. Silakan.
Motor udah 5 lagi Kak. 5.
Ini mekanismenya dari panitia. Saya bukan panitia di sini.
Saya motor kan ada keluar 5 Ji.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Bapak Haji Putra Rizky. Ayo kita bisa melihat, ini dia, mungkin kita bisa video call dulu Bapak. Mana dia, Bos Saleh, kita video call dulu. Mana dia video call? Boleh semuanya dada. Haji Putra Rizky di sana, Haji Putra Rizky. Ya, terima kasih banyak kakak. Silakan tahan dulu. Kakak yang lain tahan dulu. Silakan boleh beri.